Let's talk for a moment about ESG reporting standards and regulations because they tie directly into double materiality. When ESG ideas started gaining momentum in the 90s, voluntary reporting standards started to emerge. Some of the best known ones were, and still are, the Global Reporting Initiative, or GRI, and the UN Global Compact. Effectively, what they provide is a standard taxonomy or listing of ESG topic areas to consider, along with suggested metrics to track and guidelines on best practices and guidelines on how to report. It's intended really to give companies, guidance while making it easier to interpret and compare results. And also, it was an effort to try to reduce greenwashing. Then in the teens, the Sustainability Accounting Standards Board, SASB, released a set of reporting guidelines that were industry specific. And the G20's Financial Stability Board created the Task Force on Climate-Related Disclosures, TCFD. Their goal really was to identify risks in the financial system that could be caused by climate change. At the same time, the UN released their 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Now, none of these developments by themselves created hard regulations, but they set the stage for them with the expectation that the UN SDGs would be used by participating countries to create new legislation. And that's what started to happen with the European Union really taking the lead. In 2017, the EU's non-financial reporting directive took effect, requiring an initial group of companies to start reporting on the way they operate and manage ESG issues. Importantly, the reporting was for the benefit of more than just the shareholders. It was to be used by consumers, policymakers, and other stakeholders. So that was a real shift from traditional financial reporting. Then in 2021, the EU released the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive. This was designed to expand the number of companies who had to report and to provide more strict guidelines on reporting and auditing. As a follow-on to the CSRD, the European Sustainability Reporting Standards, or ESRS, provide the specific framework and standards for reporting. So the CSRD created the mandate for expanded reporting, and the ESRS sets out how to do it. Now, it's also important to note that this is in no way an exhaustive list. It's just an illustration of how things have evolved and a highlight of the items that will probably affect most companies. And probably the most impactful of all of them is the ESRS. So let's drill down on that for a moment. There's some really important points about it to make here. First, it takes effect as of the 2024 reporting year, and it affects companies listed on European markets, large and medium-sized EU firms, and also foreign firms that have significant operations or subsidiaries in the EU. It includes 12 reporting standards and requires companies to report on material impacts, risk, and opportunities in each of their topic areas. Importantly, the practice of double materiality is to be used as a basis for reporting. And also companies need to report on impacts, risks, and opportunities throughout their value chain, or in other words, with their vendors and with their clients. And so this means that even if your company doesn't fall directly under the scope of ESRS, many of your customers probably will, and you may find yourself responding to questions about double materiality soon as a result, if you haven't already.